first thing you need to do is you need to go to the website aplusstudents.com. Go to the website. Once you're on the website, you select math as your subject. This is a grade 2 maths lesson, and the name of the lesson is, chapter is, the topic, 3 dimensional shapes. I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. The chapter number is 22. Chapter number 22 and the lesson number 1. And the name of the lesson is, today you would try to name the 3 dimensional shapes. Okay. So let's see what are 3-dimensional and what are 2-dimensional, right? So I have some images for a 2D and 3D shapes. We'll compare them and we'll have a look what exactly are 2D shapes and what are 3D shapes. Okay. In case of 2-dimensional shapes, what happens is we can have a square, we can have a rectangle, we can have a circle, and we can have a triangle, right? A 2-dimensional shape can have length and width. So these are these are 2-dimensional shapes, right? The example is, if you are in a room, you have 4 walls, right? The walls are 2-dimension, but the room has how many surfaces? 4 walls, the roof, and the floor. So when we are looking at the room completely, it becomes a 3-dimensional shape. But if we are looking at a single wall, it would be a 2-dimensional. Okay. These would be 3-dimensional shapes. Okay, what happens is a square becomes a cube, a box, right? Hi, Semi. Hi, Precious. A square can become a square box, right? While a rectangle becomes a, the name for rectangle is, if the shape is square, we call it cube. If the shape is rectangle, we call it cuboid. From a square, we make a cube. Rectangle becomes a cuboid, right? From a circle, we make a sphere. A sphere means it's 3-dimensional from all sides. See, if we look at uh, a football, right? A soccer ball from far away, it looks like a circle, right? But when we go near the ball, we see that the football is round on all sides. The shape of the earth is a sphere. The shape of the moon is a sphere. But once we look at on the sky, the moon on the sky, it looks like a circle. Agreed? A triangle can form a cone, right? A triangle can form a cone. And a cylinder is basically if you stack coins on each other, one coin on top of another coin, right? So when you're stacking coins, it will form a shape that is known as a cylinder. A cylinder can be semi, a cylinder can also be a, okay, I'll give you, this is a square box, cuboid is a rectangle box. The difference between square and rectangle was all four sides are same, right? In rectangle, different lengths and width. That means in a rectangle, this side will be equal to this side, and this side is equal to this side, right? So a rectangular box is known as a cuboid. A circle can be a plate, right? A sphere can be earth or a soccer ball, right? A cylinder can be a soda can. Agreed? And cone can be used for an ice cream cone. They top up it with the ice cream, right? So we can say this could be a cone. Okay. A triangle is three-sided shape, three sides. Agreed? So if these are the basic shapes that we are looking at, a shape would be given to us and we would need to identify. The difference between two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes is that a, many two-dimensional shapes will combine together to make a three-dimensional shape, right? Like I gave you an example of a room, right? How many surfaces are there in the room? When you are sitting in a room, you can see a wall in front of you, you can see a wall behind you, you can usually see a wall on the right side of you, and on the left side, right? That means a room usually has, usually I'm saying, a room would usually have four walls, right? But you are also standing on one of the surface, right? Or you're sitting on a chair that is on a surface, that is the floor, and there is a roof as well. So six two-dimensional surfaces makes a cube. Agreed? Like if you buy a new phone, the phone has a packing to it, right? If you go and buy a cake, the cake is given in a box. You buy a pair of sneakers, they're in a pair of box, right? They are placed in a box. The box will have six surfaces, four sides, one lid, and one base. So it's in a cube or a cuboid, right? When you're looking at the moon on the sky, it looks like a circle, but in reality it's like a football, right? It's round on all the sizes. Moon, sun, earth, they're round, spherical, right? A cylinder is when you stack coins on top of each other. That could reflect like a shape of a soda can. A cone is one round and one pointed surface. Okay, so in this case, when we have these shapes given to us, okay, let's say they're asking us what is this shape. Can we give the name of this shape? The first question says, what is this shape? This is our question number one. So what is this shape? Precious, what is the name of this shape? It's a three-dimensional. It is a box, right? Looks like a box. But what important is that the face, the front of the box that we are looking at is, it looks like a square, right? This front of the box looks like a square. So whenever this a square box, we call this is a cube. Perfect. Thank you, May. Okay. But if I would take the same shape and I would say, what is the shape? Okay, I'll try to change something in this question. And if I would say the front of the box is not a square anymore, right? For question number 2, the front face of the box is not a square, is a rectangle. Okay. Okay. What is the shape? See, we can see the difference over here. In the first one, we said that it was a square, right? This was a square. Agreed? But in shape number 2, we know that it's not a square, right? Which shape is it? It's a rectangle, right? And whenever we are making a rectangular box, so the name changes from cube to, we will say this is a cuboid. Okay. Or we can also say a difficult term would be, rather than if you don't want to say cuboid, you can also say it is a rectangular prism. Okay. Cuboid and a rectangular prism is exactly the same. A window can be a rectangle or a window can be a square, right? Do we agree? A cuboid is also known as a rectangular prism. A square box will always be known as a cube. A rectangle box will be known as a cuboid or a rectangular prism. Okay. Rectangle box has two names to it. Agreed? Let's have a look at another example. For the next question, they're saying, just a moment, let me copy this. Question number 3. Okay, let's say if this is question number 3. What is the shape in question number 3? If I would invert this shape, it would be very easy for us to remember. When we go to a carnival and we want to buy some ice cream, they place cone on it, right? They place some on ice cream on it, right? And what do we call this type of ice cream? Perfect. When we ask the shopkeeper, we ask them, can we have a cone, right? Thank you, Michael. So this is a cone. Agreed? A drawer, table, wall, mirror, they can be rectangle, they can be, yes, your choice. But you ask for a cone. That's why this shape is known as a cone. Why? Because at the top, we know that there is a circle at the top, right? Do we agree? There is a circle at the top. That's why it's called a cone. Okay. Yes, it is like an ice cream cone. That's why I'm using the same term, cone. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Perfect. Okay, let's move ahead. For the next shape, it says, what is this shape? Okay. I told you if you have coins, right? If you have coins, same size coins, right? If you keep one coin on top of another coin, what will happen? Let's suppose if this was, okay, let's draw the diagram. Okay, this was one coin. Okay, we stack coins on top of each other. Let me just, if we had one coin, we place another coin on top of it. Then we place another coin on top of it. What shape is forming? See, what we can see over here is the top of the coin. Since we are drawing it on a piece of paper, the top will always be circular, right? The top of the coin is circular. Agreed? This is a circular part. Perfect. Thank you, Precious. Thank you, Michael. So this shape, this is a cylinder, right? Yes, perfect. A tube, pipe, anything, right? Yes. Okay, I'll give you one more example, okay? Perfect. See, now let's look at one more option, okay? Just a moment, please. Let me copy this. I'll explain you the difference. The terms, Swirly said tube, piston, Michael said cup, May said cylinder, right? It's okay. Let's see what difference would it make, right? What is the difference between them, right? Let's just have a look. If you were giving me these four different names, right, for this cylinder, because everyone has a different imagination, right? So if I say I had this shape, okay, I make another copy of it. I have this shape. Just a moment, please. I'm doing this to explain something. Okay, this, and we make another copy over here. Okay, let's say if both the sides of the cylinder were closed, both the sides of the cylinder were closed. The top side and the lower side was closed. Let me just explain this. Okay, they both were closed over here. If I make a dotted line, that will mean it's open. In the second one of the sides was open and one of the sides was closed. I'll make it dotted as well. Okay, just a moment. I make a copy, I paste on it, and I make another copy and I paste on it. Okay. If I make a dotted line, it means it is open from this side. Okay. A dotted line is showing us that it is open, and a closed line is showing us it is closed. I'm showing you the examples of the cylinder. If you have a piece of paper and if you roll the paper, right? If you roll the piece of paper, You can say you formed a cylinder, right? Agreed? What happens in this case is that when you are rolling the piece of paper, both of the sides of the piece of paper are open. Agreed? You can see through across it, right? That means both the sides of the piece of paper would be, just a moment, please. Let me just shade this so that it would be clear to us. Okay, I'll give you an example. If we roll a piece of paper, that means both the sides of the piece of paper are open. This side is also hollow and this side is also hollow, right? So what we can say is when a cylinder is, it's okay, Swirly. He just jokes, people jokes around, right? Okay, it's okay, it's fine. Let's focus, okay? Mike, okay. What we can say is when we roll a piece of paper, it's open on the sides. The only surface we have is this round surface, right? This round part is the only surface we have. So we say this is like a pipe or it can be like a straw. Agreed? This is the cylinder, still a cylinder, right? If we say, if we have a cylinder in which one side is open and one side is closed, if this side was closed, if the base is closed, but the upper part was open. So when we, can we say a drinking glass, like a cup? In a cup, the base is closed, the upper part is open, right? Do we agree? And if both the sides were closed, so we can say it is a, it can be a soda, like, sorry, soda can, right? A Pepsi can, a Coke, or any, a juice. It can be a soda can. Perfect. So now do we understand the difference? If cylinder, three shapes can be formed. It can be closed on both the sides. It becomes a can. If it's open on one side, it becomes a cup. If it's open on both the sides, it becomes a pipe or a straw. Okay? Agreed? Perfect. Thank you. Let's move ahead. Okay. If they're saying, what shape is this? Just a moment. Let me. In question number 5, they're saying a shape that is circular on all the sides is always known as, let's have a look over here. A shape that is circular on all the sides will be known as, Swirly, what should be the answer? Yes, perfect. But H is silent. Okay, so we call it, this is a sphere. Okay, E R E. The P, yes, perfect. Sphere. We'll do it again and again so that we remember. Okay. Easy way is SP with a hair, HERE. Okay. Okay. Now my another question I have is, we know that if this shape was a, what is this shape known as? It's a two-dimensional shape. If this shape is a two-dimensional shape, if this was, sorry, if this was two dimensional, sphere is a three dimensional, right? Agreed? Sphere was a three dimensional. But if it's a two dimensional, we call this as a circle. Agreed? And do we agree that in two dimensional, the circle is called, in two dimensional, this shape would be called a circle? Do we agree on this? Yes, two dimensional, this would be a circle. Let's suppose if this shape was given to us in two dimensional, okay, what we do is we break the shape into half. We remove half the shape. Okay, let's try to remove half the shape. If now we have this shape only, so what do we call this shape? Can we say we have half circle? Agreed? Can we say we have a half circle now? Semi, can we say we have a half circle? Michael, do we agree? The name of this shape is also known as semicircle. A half circle is also known as semicircle. We need to remember a full circle will be, I mind, a full circle, a full circle will be a circle, a half circle would be a semicircle, right? There's a reason why we are doing this, because we are also studying, what are we studying? We are studying three-dimensional shapes, right? So we want to see if half, okay, this was for two dimension, agreed? But now if I say, if in question number 6, what is the name of this shape? Let's suppose this shape is given to us. I'll change something about this question. What I would change is I will remove half the shape. Okay, let's suppose this shape is like we had a watermelon and we ate half a melon. Okay, I'm just trying to do this. If we had a melon, we ate half the melon. That means we are left with half melon, right? Agreed? I'll just highlight these. See, this line is a circle and this is always made as a dot to show us that it is completing a circle. Okay, so this is, hi my, hi, hi mine. Okay, it's okay mine. Let's do this question right now. Okay, in question number 6, the difference between question number 5 and question number 6 is, this is a, question number 5 is a complete melon, right? Yes, perfect. Okay, but yes, like this was half circle, then this should be half sphere, right? Okay, but in case of 3D shapes, three-dimensional shapes, we do not use the word half sphere. Okay, we use the word hemisphere. Okay, or semisphere, right? Do we agree? Because semi is which we are already using. Just a moment, please. Okay, this two-dimensional was semicircle. We can say semisphere, but the term we would use over here is hemisphere with an H. H E M I sphere. Okay, half sphere is known as hemisphere. Okay, mind focus over here, please. Okay, hemisphere is half. Okay, agreed? Hemi means half, sphere. Michael, focus, ignore. Mind, please don't flood messages. So, because I need to read these messages, right? Responses. If the messages move up, then I cannot teach. I have to scroll down, right? My focus. Thank you so much. Semicircle is known as half circle. We use the word semicircle, but if it's a sphere, we will call it hemisphere. The earth, precious, it's okay. Precious, the earth is divided into two hemispheres, right? If we ever see the map of the earth, we say the north pole and the south pole, right? In the middle we have the equator, right? That means the upper part is the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Now if we would ever hear the word hemisphere, we would know half of a sphere, right? Okay, we can always relate to our everyday life, right? Because we would have a lot of words that are being used. Thank you, Precious. Okay, so now let's say we have another shape. Now let's do questions quickly, right? We've done some explanation. Now we'll do questions quickly. Okay, what is this shape? If the front of the shape is a square, if I say the front of the shape is a square, this is a square. If this is a square, it will be semi. If this is a square, it should be what the name I can read, I call you by that name, right? Semi, what should be the shape? In question number 7, what should be the shape? If it's a square, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Precious. It's a cube. But if the front of the box was a rectangle, if the front of the box was a rectangle, we can say, we can call this as a cuboid, or we can call it as a rectangular prism. Okay, either of these names are correct because it's a rectangle front. Okay, let's do another question. Okay, we say what is the next shape. The next shape looks like a pipe or a soda can. Question number 9. What is the shape? What is the name of this shape? Question number 9. Job, Semi. What is the name of the shape in question number 9? A coin stacked on top of each other will make a pipe, right? Pipe, a cup, or a closed can, right? So the name of this shape was cylinder. Agreed? Okay, let's move ahead. Let's look at the next one. What is this shape in question number 10? In question number 10, they're asking us what is the name of this shape? Question number 10 should be, it's okay. May, cylinder would be CY. Agreed? Because you are doing the spellings for the first time, right? And Precious, so we try to remember the spellings, okay? Cylinder is CY. Perfect. Thank you for the answer. Thank you, Precious. Thank you, May. Okay. For the next question, question number 10, we see a shape that is round on all the sides, right? It could be a baseball, it could be a basketball, it could be a soccer ball, it could be earth, it could be sun. The shape that is round on all the sides is known as semi. Focus on this. Ignore job. Semi, look at this. What is the answer? Okay. Perfect. That was cylinder. Thank you, Michael, Precious, and May. And question number 10 is a sphere. Perfect. SPHERE, sphere, right? Okay, let's say we have another question. And the next question says, what is this shape? For question number 11, if we have this shape for us, given to us, we can, I think we should remember the shape easily, right? Through the ice cream, right? Thank you, May. Thank you, Precious. Semi, what is shape number 11? Question number 11. Yes, mine? Okay. What is the shape in question number 11? Semi and mine, can I have the answer from you? Perfect. Thank you, May. Thank you, Michael. We call it a cone. And easy to remember this through ice cream cone, right? Hi, Snappy. Okay. So let's see if we have different more shapes, or if we don't, then we try to do the test. Okay, let's try to do the test. Let's try to answer as many questions as we can. Okay, just a moment, please. Grade 2, chapter number 22, three-dimensional shapes. This is only one lesson in this chapter, right? So you can always do the test once you get done with this. After this lesson, you can do the chapter test. Complete the chapter would be complete. Okay. Okay, let me start with the test. The first question is this. Question number 1. Can you give me the answer as 1A, 1B? This is 1A, this is 1B. We are doing the test. Okay. It's okay, mine. Okay, Ifi. Okay. No, a cone is a pointed shape. Snappy, you need to remember when you go for an ice cream cone, that is a pointed shape, right? Perfect. Thank you, Mai. Okay. A sphere is a shape. Ifi. Thank you, May. This is a sphere. A sphere is a round shape on all the sides, right? Thank you. No, cylinder would be like a pipe. Michael, cylinder is a pipe. We have only two options over here. We had cone and sphere. So you need to select one of the options from the given options, okay? So you cannot use cylinder over here because cylinder was not as a given option. Question number 2 says, what is this shape? Question number 2. We can say 2A or 2B. In question number 2, we have a box. No, Michael. Yes, 1B, and 2A. Yes. Please write 2A and 1B so that it's clearer to me also, right? I would understand your options. Yes. Thank you, Michael, Precious, and May. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Question number 3 says, okay, I'll change a question a bit. It looks very similar, but I would try to change the question, okay? If this question was given to us, I change the question and I say this is, okay, so this is option 3A and 3B. This is question number 3. Perfect. A box formed by a rectangle is known as, this shape was rectangle, right? And in the previous question, the shape was a square. A square always forms a cube, and a rectangle always forms a, perfect. Thank you, Precious, May, Michael. Okay, that is a cuboid. Perfect. If cuboid is not written, if cube and cone was written, then you still click on cube, right? It it can also be called as a cube, but I'm just trying to differentiate between the square and the rectangle. So if the option was cube and cone, then you still go with the cube. Question number 4. Yes, mine. 4 should be 4A is cylinder, 4B is a cube. Question. Yes, please ask the question. Hi, Emily. What is the answer? You didn't say anything, right? Job, focus. Thank you, Michael. It is a cylinder, right? That would be 4A. Okay, it's okay. So that is 4A, right? Okay. Please do complete the final test, okay? And there's a final test after this, right? Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye. Thank you.